Hi and welcome to this live currency strength indicator table video with me, John, on this Thursday, the 12th of October. Here you can see we've got the yen still as a weak currency. The Swiss franc has climbed to the top. We saw that in yesterday's video, the climb to the top. So it'll be interesting to see if that can continue. The US dollar's appeared as a weak currency as well. We did start to see that yesterday. So again, that could be something to watch out for. We do have some more data coming up. Yesterday we had some PPI data, which actually came in a little bit better than expected. US dollar gained a little bit of strength from the back of that. It pretty much give all those gains back overnight. So it'd be interesting to see what happens going into today's. We had some GDP data out of the UK came in as expected, and we saw some revisions down from minus 0.5% to minus 0.6%. So GDP came out as expected, which actually saw pound initially fall, but then continued to push higher. Going into today, then there's lots and lots of data coming out today, obviously, but the big ones are going to be the US CPI month on month and core CPI month on month data around about 1:30 p.m. So that's going to be very interesting to look out for. I think considering the US dollar today is one of the main currencies to watch out for, it's going to be again quite a difficult day to look for. Now let's just recap what happened yesterday. We were looking to short pound Oz, sorry, not pound Oz, Euro Oz I should say. Let's just jump over to Euro Aussie. I ended up coming out of this position for 50 pips to the downside. I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt in this sort of area here to try and see if we could trade back up to 165.55. I think if you're still holding this trade and you have the original 65 pip stop loss, you're probably still in this position. The only thing is, you know, you're very, very close to that sort of exit there, and I don't know whether spread would have knocked you out of that overnight. Hopefully if you are in this, then you know that's something you can hold if you're comfortable with holding through that. We didn't get the reaction that we expected. Obviously initially overnight, which was great, we started to come down pushing into these key lows, which I was expecting to be tested, that 164.50. On 164.50 I would have brought my stop loss to break even at least, or would have at least took 50% off the trade, move stops to break even, see if we could get to the next levels of resistance. At the time as well, Euro Oz was on our tables to look for the short. So the tables were telling us to get involved, and yeah, in the morning we came up, retested. This is where I actually thought we'd get a little bit of a breakdown back towards this low. We just didn't happen in the end. Instead we consolidated. US session came in, drove price higher, drove price above 165.50, which was sort of my last ditch area of resistance, to be honest. I do have this high in at 165.76, but that was sort of my area that I thought if we reject here, then yeah, I think I can see price potentially continuing to the downside. It just didn't happen, you know. Price broke through, closed through, so I thought it's probably best just to exit this position around about a 50 pip loss. Price did come back overnight, so if you managed to kind of come in below that, then that was a good move to do as well. But yeah, unfortunately for us, that one didn't play out as anticipated. So pound Euro Oz was one like that. Euro Kiwi did come up and test the level of interest, but we haven't seen the reaction. I haven't placed a sell stop on this one because Euro and Kiwi are not on our tables anymore, apart from in the opposite direction. So not really what I'm looking for. That Kiwi strength that we were seeing in the market evaporated quite quickly. One chart that we did look at was Kiwi yen long. Now if you did take this move, it would have been profitable in the end, but we were looking at the fact that we were coming up into this daily level of resistance, which I didn't like. I didn't like the thought of buying into this area here. You may have got one last entry. We were looking at 89.50 for a potential long idea. If I go into sort of the 30-minute time frame and zoom out, one thing I did kind of discuss was the potential for a long down through here, a break above that high, maybe targeting the previous high. So if you did actually take that position, that was a very good outcome. I didn't take this long. I didn't like the daily chart where it was, and that's kind of proved to be right so far, because price hit that high and completely reverse back to 89.50. So this could continue to fall despite that sort of yen weakness. And I did say yen at the moment is a bit of a tricky market to trade, so I'm probably going to stay away from yen. So that only kind of really leaves us with sort of dollar pairs, dollar Swiss. We could even argue maybe pound dollar long. I mean, I like the idea of going long into 124. We've traded above 122.50 now, nice close above, and I quite like the idea of that continuing higher into the 124 level. Like I said, we did have that GDP data out. Initially, price fell. It did then rebound slightly this morning, but it came up into sort of yesterday's high, rejected down ever since, and we're starting just to push a little bit lower. So if I was looking at this one for like entry criteria, I'd probably be waiting to see how we reacted back at 122.50. If we got anywhere near 122.50 and then saw sort of buyers stepping in at that point, so maybe sort of a rejection there, we could look to sort of buy stop 122.70 and look to see if it can trade up to 124. Do quite like that opportunity there, but I'm just going to wait to see if we get any kind of decent pullback. The only problem with the break to 122.50 would be the fact that then we would trade through yesterday's low, and a trade through yesterday's low may not appeal to people that want to get long in that market. That may, that may be considered as quite bearish. So just something to look out for, though. We can just monitor that one. Like I said, dollar Swiss is the one on the tables at the moment for potential short opportunities. Swiss being the stronger currency, dollar being the weaker currency. We did get a nice double top here around about the 92 handle. You can see we retested previous highs, rejected, traded through the low at 0 spot 91, and now we're kind of back at trendline support. This trendline support is from the low that formed here on the 27th of July, spans through the low there on the 30th of August, and is now where price is kind of in at. I quite like the 8900 level as a bit of an area of support. The reason being, if I go up to a weekly time frame, you can see that the market has found support here in the past. So I like the idea of price going down to that point to maybe either go long from there or break and start to head back towards those 0 spot 86 lows. But at the moment, 89 seems to be the level that the market is reacting to, especially weekly previously. We didn't really touch it, didn't really kind of react to it last time it came here, but it may still be used as a bit of a springboard to the upside. That being said, how would you short this market? It's very difficult, I think, to try and get on this move at the moment. Price is just breaking down and continuing to break down, and that's what happens in sort of strong market versus weak market. We're also kind of on the 4 hour creating a bit of a bullish scenario there, and yeah, that's a little bit tricky here on this H4 chart to try and get anything out of that. Let me just take off the session breaks, and I keep forgetting to do this, guys. I apologize for that, but let me just put the watermark on so you can see where we're at. So yeah, you can see there's a lot of demand down towards this 8900 level. Recently we had a consolidation, price came into 89.34 and shot to the upside, so I'd imagine price may want to come and test this level again. 8900, this market, it's telling us to be short, so where would I get short? I think anywhere towards sort of the 9100 level again would be a nice area to look at, just because you've got all that support and resistance in there. So I think anything towards 9100 I'd like to be on the short side of. Is there any kind of trend line there? I guess if we go from the highs, we could have a look. Maybe there's some kind of trend line action going on here. If I look at the fibs as well, if I go from current swing low to swing high, no, that's a bit of a deep retracement. If we take the sort of the high that formed back here on the 6th of October, you can see the 62 runs through there. I think that's a bit of a reach, to be honest. So yeah, 9100 maybe we're going to get a bit of action there. like I said, though, it's going to be a difficult trading day. We've got lots of data coming out, and this was the sort of fear for the end of the week anyway, was the fact that there wasn't much data Monday, Tuesday, but ever since Wednesday, the data's ramped up a little bit. You can see here Thursday, lots and lots of data going on across the board. Friday, we've got data out of China as well as the US again. So really interesting end of the week coming up. But, you know, that kind of makes it a little bit difficult for us to pick a direction at the minute. So that's kind of the breakdown for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the